Good morning, people. I actually made this smoothie a few hours ago. I just saved half of it for the real morning. Let me see, what time is it right now? It is 8:53 a.m. Guess what I'm still hearing? That same song, repeating over and over. So now I'm going to go on a rant. After I take a sip of my smoothie, you hear my stomach growl and sit up in a more comfortable position. I'm going to go on a rant right now. Oh, that's really good. It has strawberries, elderberries, milk, some kind of organic natural sugar, and a few different herbs like ginger. All right. So, when I got back from Los Angeles, after having my tooth extracted, I had barely been able to eat solid food for a month. Those rice congees with fish and duck and preserved egg, kept me alive. I would have starved to death if I hadn't eaten those rice congees, every day while I was in Los Angeles. And when I finally was able to eat solid food, which was weeks after returning home to Humboldt, I said, oh my gosh, I'm so happy I can finally eat solid food again, because I'd lost weight. So our friend invited us out to dinner at a restaurant. And I said, this is wonderful. I'm going to eat as much food as I can at this restaurant. And I ate several different foods. So I do not know which food was the one that caused me to begin to vomit immediately. We couldn't get home fast enough. Actually, I think I vomited in a bag in the car and then vomited more when I got home. And I said, oh gosh, maybe it was the fish or something, because I ate fish and shellfish at this restaurant. And I said, well, I'm never going back to that restaurant again. But then the vomiting didn't stop. And I mean, for over a week. After a week of literally not being able to eat or drink, even a sip of water, I would immediately throw it up. I was worried I was getting dangerously dehydrated and I was losing weight. And I said, if this does not start to get better tomorrow, I'm going to go to the ER tomorrow. Well, luckily, it started to get better tomorrow. But it took 4 days after that before I could even eat a cup of food the size of this. And I was really, really, really dizzy and having vertigo. When I lifted my head off my pillow, I would put it back down for a few seconds and then slowly lift it up. So as I was recovering from this illness and luckily getting better, I was at the point where I could, eat a small bowl of food or drink half a cup of tea or half a smoothie or something. The smoothies really helped me too. I was finally recovering from this horrible food poisoning, and I was laying in my bed and I heard a song, the one that is currently playing faintly in the background right now, playing but louder, loud enough that it was loud enough for the whole neighborhood to hear, someone's clearly playing this song. And I said, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know there was someone else in the neighborhood who liked that band. And then another song from that band's CD started playing. And I said, oh, that's interesting. And then some weird song that sounded like someone's home recorded singing with their own interesting lyrics to the tune of a previous song started playing. And I said, oh, that's not, um, um, the best lyrics, but their singing sounds really good. And then it started playing a song from a old TV commercial from the 1980s. It was a song from the Great Escape game. The one that goes, make him, take him to the factory, smash him, bash him, you're in history. Yeah. And at this point I said, what is this person playing? What is this weird playlist of music? Somebody's having fun playing all this interesting music, you know? Or they like clicking on random songs or just like trying to annoy the neighborhood. And then I started hearing someone's home recording singing, Adrienne Floreen's a YouTuber. Adrienne Floreen's a YouTuber. Adrienne Floreen's a YouTuber. Adrienne Floreen's a YouTuber. A YouTuber. A YouTuber. A YouTuber. A YouTuber. At this point, even though I was like taking sips of water and setting a 15-minute timer and taking another sip after I held it down and not taking another sip if I threw it up. At this point, I went flying into my shoes and flew out of my room like a bat out of hell outside, like, who is doing this? Because it was not somebody on my property. I mean, I didn't think it was. I was like, who's doing this? This is not okay. And so I started to like run around my yard, and it sounded like it was coming from the trees. It sounded like it was coming from the road. It sounded like it was coming from the RV. And that is why I was like wandering around in my last video, like looking for speakers up in the trees. So this lasted for several hours. I never found any like speaker or any device playing music, and finally determined it might be coming from like a neighbor's property, and it stopped. Eventually at like 5 a.m, it stopped playing this because it was playing the playlist over and over. First the 2 songs from the band studio album, and then the person singing, and then the TV commercial, and then Adrienne Floreen's a YouTuber. And I was like, oh my God, because I thought that people would think that I was playing this to like announce to the neighborhood I was a YouTuber to promote my channel or something. So it stopped. And at the point where it stopped, I said, thank God. I hope this never happens again. And then I started hearing the song that's playing right now that was the first song in this playlist. And I said, oh no. Oh no. They were going to start it up again. But something worse happened. It was that song, and then that song again, and then again, and then again. And at some point I realized that somebody must have a CD player somewhere, and they must have set this one track like on repeat and plugged in and just set it to repeat that one track, which is apparently doing indefinitely. I'm not even sure how many days it's been, but I know that every single time that I hear this intro to this song that sounds like a from inside my house, I'm like, oh God, again. And it's like 3 minutes and 44 seconds long, plus like a few seconds it takes for it to like restart the track. Like it pauses for a little while. You think it's over, then it restarts. Basically, somebody is fucking with me. But unfortunately, the person who's fucking with me is also fucking with my family, especially Eugene. And they're not only fucking with my family, they're fucking with my relationship with my neighborhood friends. So I'm friends with several neighbors, and some of them live in that direction. And sound is coming from that direction. And the sound of music coming from that direction. So I did record it. And I did post videos of it on YouTube already, but I recorded them on my iPhone 7. I'm recording an iPhone 13 now, which is why you can hear it much better. This neighbor, who has been my friend since I moved into this neighborhood, was apparently unaware that I actually had any kind of recordings of this, and unaware that anyone but me had heard it, and under the impression that I was like hallucinating the sound or hearing voices. So because I think the CD player is hidden in one of those neighbors' yards, but I don't think they put the CD player there. I think somebody else snuck in there and put the CD player there and plugged it into one of their power cords going outside or something. Who knows? It's not on my property. It's got to be on a neighbor's property, and it's coming from that way. And so I went over and I started explaining that I had been hearing this song, and I know what song it is, and I tried to show him the song on my iPhone, and I said that I'm pretty sure someone has a CD player, and they have it on repeat, and they have it, like, with something, like, over it, like, muffling the sound to where it, like, echoes around the neighborhood, but, like, you can't really hear it that well or tell where it's coming from, even if you're, like, nearby the sound source. I was explaining this, and he said, "Adrienne, I think you're drunk. And I think you're getting drunk, and you're hallucinating these sounds. You need to quit drinking. You're destroying your liver." Sorry if you see this, my friend, but I'm not mad at you or him for saying this, because apparently somebody else had already listened, heard nothing, and decided I was insane, and then gone over to my neighbor friend and said, "I think Adrienne's, like, lost it this time. She's, like, hearing music everywhere," or something, like, insinuating that I was, like, hearing music in my head, um, which is why I'm recording it, but, yeah, it's not in my head, it's just very, very quiet, and these people, may have, hearing damage from being older, like, elderly or senior citizens, not elderly, I guess, but senior citizens, or maybe from going to concerts, so they might actually not be able to hear it, but, yeah, I've just recorded, like, the music playing continuously all day and night, and, I am now going to finish my smoothie and go outside and record a little more of the sound of music. And I did ask people to identify the track, but it was very, 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 very faint in my last video, and I'm not surprised that nobody identified the track, because it's not that well known of a band, even though the band members are members from very much more famous bands. It was like their side project band. So I will, if nobody's able to identify it after hearing it in this video, I will name that tune myself in a pinned comment on this video. So I'm now gonna go outside and record the sound and what it sounds like right now. I mean, I hear it in here. I'm not sure if you can hear it in here. I hear it.